Philly sports love and pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
E-A-G-L-E-S Swing of the miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Oh, well, good Saturday morning. It's episode 244. And speaking of high numbers,
Like my
hide your wife, hide your kids. Hide your wife, hide your kids. Saquon is coming for you and coming for that MVP. Oh, Saquon is your daddy. I mean, Joe, while New York football sports is falling apart, Saquon Barkley is, you can't even say quietly anymore, is just having himself probably the best year of his entire professional career. And just doing stuff that is like superhuman. He is legit making 200-yard games seem like we should expect them every week.
Yeah.
And his ability to be able to, the jump cuts and the spins and the twists and the turns and him being able to get wherever he wants on the field without any kind of sweat, man. It is just beyond impressive. It's fun to watch. It seems like the marriage of him and this offensive line is like it could not have been better made, even if you tried to pair them on The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. What a tie-in there, Don. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like butter on toast, white on rice, peanut butter and jelly. This man is the equivalent of football Jesus right now. He hold on. You know what? I got to work on my Saquon shrine. Don't tell anybody. But he's reinvented. He really has reinvented himself in this offense. He's healthy. He's fresh. He's spry. He's what he was. This is what he was supposed to be all those years in New York. I mean, you saw glimpses of it, and he had, some games in a year or two where he was like that, but he never had the supporting cast and the offensive line that he did with the Giants that he does right now. I mean, we're seeing Penn State Saquon right now. He might even be better now than he was at Penn State.
Which is wild, right? It's wild to see that you have the opportunity for him to be able to just dominate. And he looks like he looked when he came, like you're saying, when he came out of Penn State, when he was young and spry, and I think you saw the effects. He was able to do what he was able to do in New York essentially by himself, in spite of a really bad offensive line, in spite of not ever having a quarterback, in spite of most of the time. I can't say he was the only weapon, right? Because there were some times where you had Odell, you had guys that were there, but there was never a complete package like there is this year, like there is with Jalen Hurts, like there is with AJ. You saw the clips of AJ Brown and him on the sidelines going, dude, you're the best player in the world. I don't have a doubt.
Right.
Like, be it, and all signs considered that you're probably going to get Devontae Smith back this week. You know, when you pair all of those guys together, like we've been saying this like since the summer, since we knew that this was going to be the case. Good luck trying to stop them. Right,
Pick your
crowd
point.
the box. We're going to go up over top.
Yep.
Oh no! Oh,
Look at
live and direct from the front
Hey, what'd you
seat.
buy me, Rich?
Yo, what's up? First time, long time, guys. First time, long time. Just really happy to be on the show.
Sorry you were on,
Great. Saquon,
Rich.
Saquon's a beat. Joel Embiid sucks. Life's good. Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Yeah, Delco. What's up, boys?
What's going on, man?
Man, I had to hop
Live and
in.
direct from the front seat.
Yeah.
Live and direct, outside of
Target.
Target.
Nice.
Trying to get the Christmas shopping done. Just holiday
Listen,
spirit, full effect.
someone's got to help out Santa.
Hey man, and I'm the perfect guy. I'm the jolliest asshole this side of the Delaware River. You guys are on the other side, so
Have you been into the store?
we're just doing it.
Did you already go in there?
I have been. I just went in. Shelves are pretty barren. It's there's nothing left. There's nothing left pretty much anywhere.
Were you fighting people for stuff?
No, just perusing. Last minute stuff. Looking for stuff for the wifey. Nothing like waiting till the very last minute.
Listen, Rich, you got 25 days.
Oh yeah, no. The last minute is me when
25.
Christmas Eve.
You got 25 days. You'll be all right.
That's like an eternity, Rich.
Yeah. I
right.
know. It's gonna be. But I'm tuning. I'm in for a little bit. So let's go. Let's roll.
Rich, talk to me about all things Saquon Barkley, because Saquon Barkley just it's becoming redundant at this point. But like he is just as advertised, everything that we thought he could possibly be. Does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like what he is doing is just. When I watched that Rams game, I was watching it and I was kind of just floored a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like you expect greatness from Saquon Barkley, but you don't expect him to be like elite all the time. And not one 70-yard run for a touchdown, but two. And Don, we talked about it on the show, and I'm like, oh, they should easily win by like 11. Like, I had no qualms coming into this game and saying the Eagles won't win. But watching Saquon just dominate all aspects of the run game and basically the game. He put up more yards than the Giants did last week as a whole.
Yeah.
And
as a whole, as a team.
The fact that they let him walk and they're showing like the snippets now. The one guy was like, well, why would we let Saquon go? Like, oh, there's a bunch of running backs out there in free agency. Just let him go. Who's going to get that? It's like, this is what you get when you add that final piece behind an amazing offensive line. You don't you just have to make sure Saquon touches the ball 20 times a game.
The Giants are paying Devin Singletary more than Saquon Barkley
this
year.
And they're not even, and Tyrone Tracy's better. So there you go.
Also true. Yeah, it is a wild scenario to experience, to see what he's able to do, right? 255 yards on the ground, 270 plus yard touchdowns in one quarter or in one half. Over 300 yards total offense. And I think what you might start to see this weekend is him start to get involved in the you start to see glimpses of that, the involving him in the screen game.
Yep.
And I think, you have the opportunity, this weekend, is a statement for the entire NFL, for you to be able to kind of put your stamp on, if they can put a stamp on this team and be able to say, I don't care if you're the best run defense, we're just going to continue to just keep running the ball because this is our best unit and our best unit is better than your best unit. Good luck. You really wish the Bears weren't completely inane and stupid and moronic, because I really think
that was the funny.
Yeah.
That was funny. He literally doubled down and said, "I think we did the right thing." Are you fucking?
Yeah, we're good. I did the right thing.
Are you? No, bro, 35 seconds and it blew it.
and you had a timeout.
Oh,
like
man.
it's just wild. Just wild. But like the way that they are able to operate on offense is just it makes all of this work, and it makes it work seamlessly. And it's not without, right? They've been able to do it navigating injuries. They've been able to do it. They've had some injuries up and down the offensive line. They've had A.J. Brown out for a period of time. They've had Devontae Smith out for a period of time. You're just able to do whatever you want to do, regardless of who's down there. And I think you're going to have, Saquon Barkley's got to average a little over 100 yards over the next 6 games to set the league record for rushing.
Yeah.
You might be able to do that and not have to play him in a meaningless game at the end of the season.
What's the magic number? The magic number is 3?
Magic number for
division?
For us, the division is 3, right?
Clinton division? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm kind of looking at, right? Is we're going to get a playoff game regardless. We're going to be the 1 or 2 seed. Detroit, honestly, that win against who was it? The Bears was not impressive. They should have lost. They're banged up on the line, and that was their strength really coming into the season. So I would see them falter a little bit toward the home stretch. They have some tough games. They got Green Bay on Thursday, so that's going to be a tough up. So I mean, it does leave it wide open for us to take. But let's be real. You hit those 3 games, you're pretty much want to cruise into the playoffs with. I'm not shooting for the best record. I'm not shooting for that. I'm shooting for health and longevity as a team, especially in the cold. So it's important to win the next 3 games, which I think Baltimore's is tough, but Baltimore also likes to shoot themselves in the foot. I don't think the passing weapons, match up well with our cornerbacks. Zay Flowers is the tricky guy who's going to beat you. Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar, the magic runs out after a while. Like, we know they're not wide receivers. It's just the 40-yard touchdown that was a great throw last week, the back shoulder throw that Bateman hit him right in the chest. Again, they should have lost that game to the Chargers if Quentin Johnson doesn't drop 3 easy passes. So we wouldn't even be talking about the Ravens would be 7-6. Lamar Jackson, is playing out of his mind. But the key to beating them is scoring, which we don't do, is scoring early, getting up early, and eliminating Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Because Derrick Henry is only on the field. They do not use him in the passing game whatsoever. It's just Justice Hill. As soon as they get down, it's Justice Hill. And that's what you want. You want that matchup over the Derrick Henry matchup, especially when it's going to be cold in Baltimore. But I see this picture as, okay, 49ers fucking suck. Dallas is whatever. Washington is like I said earlier, in previous shows, they are Miami last year. Like, who really scares you? The scariest team that we faced was the Rams because they have 2 elite wide receivers, and we fucking bodied them.
Yeah. You had a lot of the yards and a lot of the effect on the game happened late in the game when the game was already put in the bag. When they were able to get yards and points on the board. You're looking at the rest of this season, right? You've got 2 games, and those 2 games are against the AFC, right? You got the the matchup this weekend against Baltimore. You got the matchup in 2 weeks against Pittsburgh. Right outside of that, you've got Carolina, Washington, Dallas, and New York. And when you look at their their travel up until now, right? They've been to Brazil, New Orleans, Tampa, New York, Cincy, Dallas, LA, and Baltimore. They're not going to get on a plane the rest of this year until hopefully, right? Hopefully, that plane ride doesn't happen until they're flying to New Orleans. But when I look at this, you've gotten to 9-2. And you've played your toughest part of your schedule already. You've done all the travel. You've done all this will be the last true test, because I really don't think that when you go to play Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, that to me is not going to be that's not a huge test for me. But I look at this and I go, right, you need someone to go in and take care of Detroit. I think the other team that I got my eye on is the Packers. The Packers could I'm not saying that it's legit, but I'm saying that's another team that I could see, right? Because I'm not looking at the 49ers, right? I'm not looking at the Cardinals or the Seahawks or anybody out west, right? I'm not looking at anybody. There's nobody else in the NFC East, and the NFC South is kind of like it is what it is, right? I'm not worried at this point in the season. I'm not worried about Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, or Carolina, right? So who else am I worried about? The only other team that I'm thinking of, right? Because we've talked about Minnesota, right? Minnesota feels more like a paper tiger than they feel like they're anything else. It really does feel like a 2-horse race. Like it feels like it's like it's there's this inevitable crash course of the Lions and Eagles.
And Birds.
Joe, who worries you?
If the Eagles play their game, Rich, nobody.
Yeah, no one.
Nobody. But yeah, probably Detroit. NFC North, you just want them to beat up on each other. Detroit, yeah, with their injuries and the way that their team is rolling right now, I mean, they're a really good team. They're a very, very good team. But they showed, Thursday that they are definitely beatable. So, with our dominance on the offensive line, it's the Eagles can beat everybody. What I want to see what I want to see Sunday is I think Baltimore is going to do whatever they can to try to limit Saquon, which I don't think they're going to really have any success with, but I have a feeling that they're going to stack the box, and I want to see how Jalen and how the coordinators and Nick adjust or have an answer for that. The short passing game, getting Smith and Brown and Goddard, everybody involved. That's what you're going to need to win in the playoffs. You can run. You already know your offensive line is arguably the best in the league, but you're going to have to make timely throws, and you might have to make timely throws in tight windows, in the cold or in the elements or on the road. Jalen's going to have to do that. I mean, he's proven that he has done it in the past, but with the way that this team is constructed as more of a running team now, you're going to have to show that you can do that in the biggest games and at the biggest moments.
I mean, AJ Brown probably had the quietest 100-yard, 1 touchdown game in his career, right? So and that to me is where the Ravens defense is vulnerable. You can get AJ Brown matched up with any of their DBs, and I think any matchup with him is a distinct advantage for him. But I think in this case that is probably their weakest point, right? That you've got help on the back end with Kyle Hamilton, but I think you have the opportunity to be able to take advantage of AJ Brown's matchup. And I think, Rich, that speaks to your point about getting up early.
Mm-hmm.
You get up early. I think those first couple possessions If you have the opportunity, you got to put up 7, and if you can get 1-2 touchdowns in that first quarter, and you're up 10, up 14, and you really put Lamar Jackson in a position where he's got to utilize the passing game and not lean on Derrick Henry to be, because they use Derrick Henry in a very similar way to how the Eagles use Saquon Barkley, right? To salt the game away, hold on to the ball, keep possession, keep the ball out of the other team's hands. I think if you can kind of play in reverse and really go on the offensive, and then it gives you the opportunity to be able to do what you did with the Rams, right? Because early on in that game, that offense almost felt kind of boring, right? And then it's 3 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards, and then 72. And so I think that this Eagles team just does a really good job at being consistent, and just not like in years past, we've seen them, the run's not working early, they go away from it and they throw the ball 57 times. They're not doing that this year. They're really sticking to the run and really figuring out ways to make that run game work, so that late in the game, man, they're able to just kind of, salt it away. And they really just is Saquon Barkley the best closer in sports since Mariano Rivera?
After yeah, the last game, yeah. What was it? What did they play? Monday night? Did they play Monday?
Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah, after Sunday night, yeah. I mean,
and they got an extra day's rest, right? The Ravens played Monday night in LA.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're both flying back from LA.
I do absolutely love the fact that when Jordan Mailata went and a few of the offensive linemen approached Nick and said, "Hey, we need to run the ball more."
Yep.
Yeah, because they have their identity. They know what they do. And, Collinsworth kind of said it best. They're bullies, right? They're bullies on both sides of the ball. You're going to feel it when you play Philadelphia, and that's the identity that we want. The identity of you're going to come in, you're going to get a smash mouth game, you're going to get beat up, we're going to out-survive you. Good luck when it comes to the fourth quarter. Saquon's running the ball, and he's hitting these linebackers, he's hitting these defensive linemen, he's hitting these cornerbacks. 3, 4, 5, 6 yards a game. Great. And then in the fourth quarter, when these guys are tired, they're running these counter traps, and then boom, right up the middle, no one's going to touch him. He is so fresh with getting this many carries because of how they're adjusting his workload and what they're doing to get him in position to be successful. And that offensive line just opens up holes, and it's what they're going to do. And then you can ride off the play action. Then Jalen can ride off the design runs. And then you're actually, okay, you can start seeing these chunk plays. But it's not like the Eagles of yesterday where we're relying so much on the big play and the shots downfield. No, we're relying on just beating you up, maintaining time of possession, and then when the fourth quarter comes and it's our big boys versus your big boys are exhausted and trying to stop us. And that's how you want to play. You have to get, especially in the cold weather games, guys don't like getting hit. Hit these motherfuckers, hit them hard, and then let them know you are playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is what we're going to do to you. And teams stop it. And that's what we want to keep going. That's the attitude, and that's the physicality that represents Philadelphia. You can kick us, but we're not going to be down, and then we're going to bowl right over you. And you've seen it. You've seen it for the past 7 weeks, and it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, that bully mentality, right? Saquon Barkley leads the league in 30, 40, 50 yard rushes and 50-plus yard touchdowns, right? When you can just go up and down this roster with the guys that are playing well, right? Rich, I know a guy that's near and dear to your heart, right? The Jalen Carter and Jalen Carter's effect on
game record
ability to be able to create opportunities for other guys on this defense.
Dude, he's just a monster, and
playing a lot too.
I hate saying that I look forward to next year, but I look forward to them getting somebody and putting them next to him and saying, good fucking luck. Jalen Carter one, I think he's an All-Pro. Like I'm not even saying that 'cause that's my boy. He's an All-Pro. He's an All-Pro at defensive tackle. Give me a fucking Micah Parsons. Give
Parsons,
me a
Gary Cross.
fucking. Give me a Miles Garrett. Set these boys next to each other and just say, who the fuck are you stopping? Because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And Milton Williams is playing out of his mind because he has Jalen Carter next to him. Jalen Carter makes everybody on this team that much better. It was like the Cooper DeJean effect when he came in and started playing the slot. It made all the linebackers play better. And now you have Jalen Carter is like reminiscence of, but better than Fletcher Cox in his prime. And everybody around him is just getting better. And that's what you want to see. Like Jalen Carter handily just destroying offensive line. And even Collinsworth said, is the only way to stop this guy, like the holding penalty that they missed on him.
Oh, they missed a bunch.
And he's like, this way you can stop this guy is by fucking ripping his head off. And he still almost got the sack.
And he still almost made the play. And he's playing a lot too, right? In that Rams game, he's playing 79% of the snaps. The game before, he played every down. His ability to be able to create opportunities, playing next to Nolan Smith, playing next to Jordan Davis, playing next to Milton Williams. I think the one that hurts, right? Obviously the injury to BG. For him to go out in a game where he was when he was dominating in that Rams game, and in year 15 having arguably one of his best seasons ever. I'm curious to see how they use the guys that they have to be able to create that same kind of pressure. And I think the guy that makes it all, the guy that stirs the drink and all of that is Jalen Carter. Because I think, you bring in Charles Harris, who's a guy that, was productive, but, was on the back end of his career, right? 29. So not necessarily that he was a bad player in Carolina, but Carolina is more looking at the guys that are younger in like their early 20s. So they're ready to move on. But he's a guy that, you don't know if you put him next to a guy like Jalen Carter, or you put him opposite from, a guy like Josh Sweat or Milton Williams, that like he could have an opportunity to be productive, right? He in the games that he played had 3-4 sacks, had a handful of pressures. But you look at guys like Jalix Hunt, right? Jalix Hunt has flashed.
Those boy.
That's Joey, right? Joe, talk about the guys and the ways that they replace Jordan Davis, or not Jordan Davis, but Brandon Graham.
Brandon Graham. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the word. I mean, you're not going to replace BG. You're going to
no, not at all.
Because you can't. I mean, the guy's an Eagle Hall of Famer and potentially an NFL Hall of Famer, but what he brings on and off the field is unmatched. But you're gonna have to give more snaps to Nolan Smith. You're gonna have to give more snaps to Jalix Hunt, who was recruited by who Vic Fangio was huge on, and is one of the reasons why he's an Eagle. He's trying to get acclimated. He's trying to get his feet wet. He's trying to get his positioning and his leverage and all that. But it's just going to be situational football. Vic has been amazing this year at plug and play with his guys. So I'd like to see Charles Harris get some reps this week. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out there. It's relatively quick, but what he was able to do on a bad team, he was productive. He only started 7 games. If I think he may have played in 9 games, but I think he only started 7 games. But to get the production that he was able to get on a team that's that bad, says something. And I think it'll probably rejuvenate him a little bit, give him an opportunity to say, this might be my only opportunity to win, to come in and be successful on a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. So that might give him a shot in the arm, a jolt of energy to come in and say, you know what, I've got an opportunity here to be the man. So he hopefully he comes in and is able. You don't want him to be a reason why we we lose a game or him to make a bad play that can cost us. You just want him to come in and give us good quality reps, because we're about as thin as we can get at that position. But you're gonna need Nolan Smith, to do really well, and Jalen Hunt to give you whatever he can. Set the edge. I mean, if you're not going to get the sack, if you're not going to get you're not going to get a hurry or a quarterback hit, set the edge. Don't let the running back or whoever's on your side of your edge to get possession on you. And Vic Fangio has been fantastic at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guy that you gotta expect the most out of when he comes off of IR is Bryce Huff.
I
I
forgot.
mean,
Come back.
I mean, you're
Sorry,
gonna need, right.
I
He's
forgot about him.
he's
Captain.
gonna, yeah. I mean, but you're gonna need him to come back and even if Joe, if it's in a scenario like you just described where he's just in pass rush opportunities and just creates pressure. But I think what allows this offense to be so impactful up front is the guys on the back end. Your Quinion Mitchells, your Cooper DeJeans, right? You got Darius Slay, who's going to be out for, so you're going to see Isaiah Rodgers. I think the way that this defensive backfield matches up against Rich, the guys that you described earlier, it's going to give you an opportunity to be really productive because you're talking about, Rashad Bateman. They add Deontay Johnson,
Who's
who they
been
haven't gotten a ton of, right? They haven't gotten pretty much any production out of him, right? The guy that you might want to keep an eye on is Mark Andrews, right? That could be a guy that Lamar Jackson goes back to. If the guys on the outside are locked down like they have been. I just think that, like, outside of Derrick Henry, there's not a ton of guys on this offense that really scare me.
right. You have to cover. You have to stay body on body and just be in position, at which they have been incredible at. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna throw everything they have at you. Andrews might be the guy. So whoever they're trotting out there to cover him, or if they're gonna put Andrews, they're gonna move these guys all over the field. So whoever it is, you just have to tackle. Don't get hit over the top, which, I mean, is always a possibility every week. But tackle, wrap up, limit their yardage, and you have a good shot. But yeah, you got to get pressure. You have to make Lamar do what he doesn't want to do. You got to keep him contained. He's going to get his yards, but you just have to limit the big play, or the big chunk run from him. So Vic's got his work cut out for him, but I think he's risen to the task all year, and I think he's going to rise again.
Yeah, you gotta keep Lamar in the pocket, spy him with Dean. Bring the blitz, contain, and make Lamar beat you with his arm. Like Lamar, yeah, he's having an MVP year, but again, with our corners and our secondary, like, good luck. So if you contain them, you hold them to under 50 yards rushing, you win the game. Um, Derrick Henry loves to dish out the punishment. Hit him
Yeah.
often. Let you be the one that's dishing out the punishment. Don't be the one on the end of that stiff arm that'll send you to the end of the world. And make Lamar Jackson throw the ball over the top, which we've seen it's not done right now on the Eagles. Last week Puka and Cup, were held. I thought very well. I think
Yeah.
Puka put off way too much though. I was watching a lot of his routes.
He did. His
Aren't
stuff all
going.
junk. Rich, all his stuff was junk time.
Yeah, and Cooper Cup's touchdown was junk time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Ravens, stop Derrick Henry, contain Lamar Jackson. That because you're not going to stop him. You just really
No.
want to contain.
Right.
You contain Lamar Jackson, and you do what you do best. Like the Eagles can't go into this game saying, "All right, we know that their pass defense sucks, so let's throw it 50 times." It's like, no. This is our identity, and this is what we do. We'll establish the run. We'll work off play action, and if the run's not there, that's when you incorporate the screen game or You incorporate the check downs, some crossing patterns. I think they're going to have a good matchup, and I'm going to just give you my prediction because I'm going to get the fuck out of this parking lot. Um, I would say I've been pretty good. I think it's going to be Eagles by 9. So I'm going to say it's 30-21 Birds. I just I have a good feeling Lamar is going to make some mistakes and the Eagles are going to do what they do. AJ Brown 162 yards receiving, Saquon 71 on the ground. So it's going to be an AJ Saquon game and we're going to be all fucking here for it. Boys, I love you. Go
All right.
Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Good luck.
Later, brother.
Later, dude.
Good luck out there, brother.
Ah.
Good times. All right.
Man. Listen, that was Rich checking in live from Target. In the shadows of Black Friday and what's left on the Target shelves. But listen, Joe, I think when you look at this opportunity for this defense, I'm the matchup of this defensive line going up against Derrick Henry, I think is one that I think this is a game that is going to have everybody's eyes and ears because I think you're matching up strength on strength. You're matching up the Eagles' ability to be able to stop the run and hold teams from over top. Rich talking about Lamar Jackson, trying to force him in situations where you get up over top. I think that gives that almost feeds into the strength of this defense. And I think this is, he hasn't turned the ball over a whole lot this year. But I think this is an opportunity. If he's going to try to throw the ball up top, I think this is an opportunity where you might see a Quinion Mitchell interception. You might see a Cooper DeJean interception. You might get another one from Reed Blankenship. I think, you have the opportunity because of the way that this defensive backfield matches up with their offensive weapons.
Yep.
Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Deontay Johnson, I mean, they're productive, right? But they're not guys that scare me. The only way that I see that group of guys having any kind of success is if they just dink and dunk all day long. If they're just trying to keep the ball underneath, if they try to go up over top at all, I think that the way that this defensive backfield matches up, I think they have the opportunity to have some success.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be imperative that they've got to be the more physical team, and they've been the more physical team all year. You have a Derrick Henry, but you got to come up and smack him in the mouth and say, you know what, you're not going to set the tone. We're here and we're gonna match you blow for blow the whole game. So
Yeah,
and we've shown that we've done it all year. We do it every game, like I said. But especially with a guy of his caliber and his size and how he just is like a road grader. You're gonna have to. You can't shy away from that. You can't shy away from the contact. So many of these guys, in past games, they don't want to wrap up. They don't want to go up and smack them or hit them, hit him hard because he's such a big physical specimen. So you've got to say, you know what, I'm not intimidated by you, and we're coming. So that's got to be the mindset, and you got to do that for 60. You got to do that for 60 minutes. You got to do that from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. But yeah, it's going to be huge for us. Those first 15 plays that are scripted. This is the kind of game where you really want to be firing on all cylinders. You don't want to wait until the second half, where your offense is running and rolling like a well-oiled machine. You need to do this. You got to start doing this stuff earlier in the game and stop setting yourself up where you're making it harder on yourself after halftime.
it's true.
And it makes Baltimore more one-dimensional. So it's going to be. I want to see. I mean, you're going to have. It looks like you're going to have all your weapons this week, and Baltimore's got. You got to watch Baltimore. They have a good pass rush, but you have to take the check down. Barkley's always going to be there. Somebody's going to be there for a check down. So Jalen.
Yeah.
I know Jalen doesn't like the dink and dunk, and Jalen doesn't like to take the check down. He's looking for the big play sometimes, but it's about winning the game and doing whatever you have to do to win the game. And hopefully, once Jalen is at that point, this team has a legitimate shot. They have a shot right now to get to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, yeah. Joe,
But
I would argue with it that since
he,
the bye,
yeah,
since coming off the bye, he has been a better decision maker. He's been better and smarter with the ball. Really trying to look at how do I get my guys, how do I get them the ball in the best position to be successful, and he's done a really good job at that, right? And you look at the the times where we kind of scoff at the times where he's rolling out and throws the ball out of bounds, at the times where he's not he's being smart about the chances. I don't want to say he's not taking chances, right? But he's being smart about when do I get the ball in space, right? You look at some of the passes this week in the game against the Rams where he gets the ball to AJ Brown, right? They're not these big 45, 50, 60-yard plays down the field, right? But they're plays where he gets the ball to AJ Brown in space, and AJ Brown's getting 25, 27, 29,
yep.
right? And he's moving the sticks, getting the first down. And in a game last week where there isn't somebody on the other side of the field, right? You're looking at the guy that was opposite of him was either Johnny Wilson or Jahan Dotson, or like there weren't, right there. So the Rams had the opportunity to be able to focus and double AJ Brown, and he was still, like I said earlier, right, the
Quiet.
quietest 100-yard, 1 touchdown performance from
Yep.
any single player this year.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this and going, right, the strength on strength is where it's going to be an exciting matchup to watch, because their defensive line and your offensive line are both strengths of this team.
Yep.
Right? And we're going to see who's got the better unit.
Yeah.
And I think the more that you lean on your best unit and your opportunities to create successful plays, the thing that I would implore is the thing that you've done all year long, which is be consistent, right? Stay consistent and don't go away from anything because it's not working early,
Right.
We've seen them, right? And if you go back through the game logs for the last couple games, when are they having the most success running the ball? Down the stretch, third quarter, fourth quarter, like 2 minutes, like if they get the ball with 5 minutes left, you're not getting the ball back, right? You saw that in this Rams game, right? You saw them, come out in the second half, right? First play of the second half, hand Saquon the ball, 70 yards, touchdown.
Yep.
Right? That game was over there, right? As much as they got close later in the game, that game was over. They were never going to give the lead back up, and they just kept. And the thing that I liked from Sirianni, right, is that you saw opportunities to put points on the board, and you did.
And he actually took them. Yeah. That's
And
great.
he's been smarter.
He
He's been making better decisions.
On the sideline in the press conferences, he's very vanilla, but he's laser focused, and that's
Yeah.
your team feeds off of the coach. Look at what a shitstorm shitfest the Bears are. Look at their coach. How he's gone. The Eagles are dominating. The Eagles are one of the best, if not the best teams in the league. And Nick comes
Yeah.
out and says after the game, he says, "You know what? Well, you guys are great. This is awesome. The team's doing this. Everybody's riding high. And everybody's, everybody's at the top of the this and that and the categories." And he says, "You know what? You guys haven't won shit."
Well, because he
Guys
knows
have
if they want to get where they want to go,
right. You need to go in, put your head down, and fucking work, which is
Yep.
the absolute mindset you have to have, because you've played 11 regular season games. Regular season games. We haven't even gotten to playoffs. We haven't even clinched a playoff spot. This team's got a greater goal, and that you have to keep driving that home every day of practice, all week at practice, every game, and getting the guys to buy in and understanding that we've got bigger things to accomplish, and the guys knowing that and not looking at for personal accolades. When Saquon Barkley sets that record, he walks up to the offense, Brown, whoever, and the whole offense line. We set the record.
Yep.
We
You
set
got to play us. You got to come play us. And I think right. You look at how some of your guys are performing on the field. Right. Quinion Mitchell in 7 straight games has not allowed more than 30 yards.
right. Always
Right.
right place. That guy is way beyond his years, but he's the ultimate pro. Like he he doesn't get distracted. He doesn't make bad plays. He may be out of a position on one route, but he's going to give up what he gave up 14 yards to Pakua. That was probably the biggest play he gave up the whole freaking year, and it was a 14-yard reception, and he was
Yeah.
still on him like glue. Pakua is
Yeah.
a big, strong, physical guy. He was able to bring that ball in, but he was right on top of him, right on,
Yeah.
and he's been that
Yeah.
way.
You got.
He's always his body positioning, his smarts, his speed. If the guy looks like he's going to make an out route and he's going to be there to catch the ball, Q's able to close on it and knock the ball down. So he's always in the right place at the right time, all the time, all game, because he's got the skill and he's got the mindset.
Yeah. I think their ability to get pressure up front, their ability to be able to lock down out on the outside, their ability to be able to create depth, on the back end with Blankenship and with CJ GJ. I think you're looking at a very complete unit. And we haven't, Joe. We've gone 46 minutes and we have not talked about Zach Bowen. And Zach Bowen is a guy that the three of us are just constantly talking about. When does this extension get done? When does Mekhi Becton's extension get done? Because those two guys, you brought them in on 1-year prove it deals, and they have more than proven their worth. And I think, if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm not making the same mistake that I made with TJ Edwards,
Right?
and gonna just go look for the next guy.
And this
Right.
guy,
If this guy, if your plan is to keep Vic Fangio around for a couple years, and this is Vic Fangio's guy, and you see how productive he's been, I don't want to try to find the next guy. Right. I found the next guy, and Zach Bond and Mekhi Becton seem like they like it here.
yeah, he hasn't had this much fun and reinvented himself since college. He said he hasn't loved football this much. I mean,
Yeah.
fire with the Jets. He was had an up and down career there, but everybody has an up and down career with the Jets. It's the Jets. You come here, you buy in with Jeff Stoutland University, where if
I love it.
you go to class, you study, and you do all that, you're going to get a 4.0, but you got to buy into the program. You buy into the program, you're going to get a
Yeah.
good grade. You're going to get a
Yeah.
good grade, and you're going to get a payday. So he's in a good spot. Zach Bond's in a really good spot. It's just a matter of that. They've got to step outside their comfort zone of paying linebackers. You got to pay the guy. Like all he does
Yeah.
is game in, game out. Wherever you want to line him up, whatever you want him to do, he does it.
Yeah.
Does it at a Pro Bowl elite level. He's got the speed. He's got the vision. He tackles. He's physical. He's coachable.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, the other big addition is not. It has been probably the best addition to a team in Saquon Barkley. And when you look at his ability to be able, the dramatic effect that he's had on this offense, you're talking about a guy who at this point coming into this game against Baltimore is just 8 yards shy of 1,400 yards. He's about 700 yards shy of the single season record. That the age of the running back is coming back. When you look at there are 3 guys, Joe, that have switched teams in the offseason, in Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs. And this I saw from Victor Williams, who does a great job with the Philly pod. The teams that let those guys walk, Raiders, Titans, Giants, are combined 7-26.
Oof.
Tell me that running backs don't matter.
Right.
Without telling me that running backs do matter.
It's a matter of they do matter, but these teams are sacrificing the financial side of things for keeping
Yeah.
the team or not. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of the NFL is transitioning. You have to be able to do both. You know, you can be a passing team and build your team around passing, but when it gets to the playoffs and it gets to a Super Bowl, you
Yeah.
have to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
And
And
I,
run the ball they do, Joe. Saquon
oh
Barkley
my,
on that
they
on
dominate.
that on
They
that
do.
70-yard run, Joe. Saquon Barkley topped 22 miles an hour.
Yeah, take
He
that.
would have gotten arrested in a school zone, Joe.
Take that, Tyreek Hill. Who's the cheater
Oh,
now, bro? Line them up. Line them up. Let's
oh,
race them. Put them next to each other.
oh.
Let's race them. But
Yeah, man.
they having an elite offensive line and an elite running game
Yeah,
open up your team for so many opportunities to for greatness. You know, it's if I'd much rather be an elite running team than an elite passing team, because an elite passing team usually always crumbles or fades, you know, in the biggest games, playoff, Super Bowl. Look at Peyton Manning. Look at the Broncos. Of course, they were going against the Legion of Boom, but look at the Broncos versus Seattle in that Super Bowl. You had
yeah.
Peyton scored 8 points in a Super Bowl. So you add this dynamic offense with a dynamic running game. You know, then
Yeah.
you even Gainwell's having success behind this line because this line loves to run the ball. These guys they're just blowing guys off the line of scrimmage. Just a complete domination from week to week.
Joe,
Um,
if I could give anybody some advice, go on to Baldy's breakdowns.
yep,
Find the series of clips where he's highlighting the Eagles' offensive line and just enjoy. If you can connect it to your TV, put it up on a big screen, and just sit back and kick back and watch, man, he does a great. There's not a better guy out there on the internet breaking down film, but his ability to be able to highlight not only the Eagles' offensive line as a unit, but the push and pressure that you're getting from Mekhi Becton, the ability to be able to create space and create blocks in space from Cam Jurgens, your ability to be able to protect on the edge with Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, your ability to be able to get pressure up the middle with Landon Dickerson and Mekhi Becton and Cam Jurgens. I mean, let's be honest, Joe. You lost a Hall of Fame center, and you moved the guy from guard to center. So you
yep,
essentially had to recreate this line with two new guys. And this unit didn't miss a beat. And I think the thing that this is where I get really excited about watching this game. And it's like you want to like carve your spot out on the couch. You want to get all the beverages and all the snacks ready. And I love y'all, but don't talk to me for 3 hours. Like
how
this is
about
one
it?
I want to be like dialed in on. And that's where I think for me, Joe, if I'm looking at making a prediction this weekend, this to me is a game where you have the opportunity to be able to show the NFL, because right now they're like, oh, who did you play? Who did you play? You're doing it against X. You're doing it. They have won 7 in a row. They have the opportunity to make it 8. I think they make it 8. I think this is a game where, you win in that, you know, 32-24 kind of. I think you're going to see the Ravens put up points. But I think this is a situation like it. I think the script plays out the way that it has the last couple of weeks. I think the only time that the Ravens really start to put up points is when they put them up late, when the game is already salted away.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that you have the opportunity to be able to get points early. I think you can score 10 or 14 in the first quarter and really put Baltimore in a position where they force Lamar Jackson to use Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman and Deontay Johnson, and you force him to be able to have to throw the ball. And that's where I think you get turnovers on defense. I think this is a 2-turnover game from the defense. Um, I think this is another Saquon 100-yard game. I don't see where you give them the opportunity to be able to our strength is better than your strength, and that's where this could be a 100-yard rush, 100-yard receiving game. I think this is an AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. I think someone gets 100 yards receiving. I think Saquon gets 100 yards rushing. But I think this is a 32-24 birds. The good birds. The green birds.
Beautiful, man.
Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Yeah, I could see this game being a field goal game. I could see this game Ravens by 1, Philly by 1. It wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore won. I would not be surprised, but I don't see it going that way. They're home, but like you said, offensively and defensively, we're just stronger. We're just a stronger team. Our offensive line is just at an elite level, and they're looking for a game like this to show what they are again against a top team in their building, against a really good team. So I've got Philly 30, Baltimore 24. I see the same thing. I don't know if Barkley's going to get 100 rushing, but I guarantee you he's going to get between 100 and 150 total yards.
Okay.
And then
Screen
it's either
game?
going to be Smith or Brown going over 100. I think we can hit you in so many different ways. I mean, Dallas Goedert. I mean, look at what Dallas Goedert did against the Saints. It's you really don't know who. It's like pick your poison. Smith could have 100 yards. Brown could have 100 yards. Goddard could have 100 yards. Hey, maybe we finally get a freaking Jahan Dotson touchdown, which it would be nice after we're rolling into game 12. But the fact that
I
this
bet you,
team,
Joe, the odds on the anytime Jahan Dotson touchdown are the amount of plus money that you would get on that would definitely make any parlay worth it.
oh my God, I had him on, and I'm just gonna run this by you real quick. I don't have a charger on my phone right quick. I might just cut out soon. So, I thought he was going to score in that Rams game when they threw him that ball in the sideline inside the 10 against the Rams. I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna it didn't happen.
Well, listen, Joey, what do you got for final thoughts on the way out? Because we got we'll wrap this up before your phone dies.
Hey, just the piggyback off of Thanksgiving. Shout out to all your friends and family and all your pets and all your animals. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. Enjoyed this today. Enjoy this weekend as we roll into Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Christmas and all other holidays that I forgot to mention that aren't on the top of my head. But just
No,
enjoy
you're
your
good.
time together. Enjoy these moments together. Enjoy this ride and this wave with our football team. It's a really great time for us all to hang out and watch some football and watch the Eagles just roll through the NFL like they're rolling through the NFL. It's really great to see that Dallas still sucks. And it looks like Dallas is going to continue to suck for quite a while. So hopefully Jerry can get out and get a Black Friday sale on his curtains for his stadium. Hopefully that'll all work out, and they'll be able to see the ball at some point for the rest of the season. I mean, they're still probably going to lose the games, but at least they'll be able to see the ball. If they don't have the little, maybe some sunglasses. Maybe he can provide some NFL caliber sunglasses for his players. Yeah, just enjoy your time together. Enjoy this Eagles run, and just to feed off of Thanksgiving and keep this rolling into the holiday season, the rest of the holiday season.
Most definitely. Listen, I think the thing to highlight for me this week for final thoughts is the NFL is going to do something really cool this week called the My Cause My Cleats.
I did see that
where they do a great job at giving the players opportunities to highlight things that they're passionate about or contribute about off the field. So I would encourage you to try to if you have the opportunity to be able, I know that there's a lot of spending going on, with your families. But if you see, something that you're passionate about that kind of aligns with something that maybe you take an opportunity to maybe, make a donation or you kind of seek out those opportunities to be able to support the players that you like. I know it's a shame because I saw the Brandon Graham ones. His and I didn't realize this, but Brandon Graham is actually involved in the Ed Snyder Youth Hockey Foundation, and that was his cause. His cleats were the orange and black, the Ed Snyder
I
Foundation.
did see that, yeah.
Which are pretty cool. But if you see opportunities like that to be able to get your team or get an organization or a foundation that you support, kind of go out and take a look at that. And then don't forget to go check out our sponsor, Philly Drinkers. They got a lot of cool. If you go on their page, you can use our Drunk on Broad 15 code. You can also use a bunch of other codes that they got on their thing, over the course of this weekend. And on the way out, Joe, Saquon is your daddy. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
E-A-G-L-E-S-E